Hello and welcome to another tutorial. We're going to be working on Georgia State Police, and we've got their example vehicles right here. Georgia State Patrol. We're not going to worry about Nighthawk, Heat, that's a specialized unit, but our main focus is their state trooper unit, the typical one you would see if you were driving through the state. Blue on the sides, silver on top. Nice looking cars, and they've done a nice job with the design, and we're going to try to replicate that right here. And this is our example vehicles. This one's a little blurry, but it kind of gives us an idea that there's not much on the back. They do have a number on top and that kind of stuff, but it gives us things to remember. Otherwise, let's go ahead and get started on our template here. This is going to be the 2014 model, very similar to the bottom right one. That's just the year. You can tell this is the 11 to 14 versus the 15 and newer on the left. Alright, so let's go ahead and start off going to our text. I've already kind of matched the color, but what I did was I went to one of our examples here, used the color picker tool, and selected in this color that we wanted to use. And you can kind of compare among the others and see which one has the clearest color. That one's not bad either. Choose the color, get it to match up as close as possible. At the moment, this is what I've got. I've just created a new layer, and I'm going to go ahead and name that one... no. Georgia Right. And we'll create another one called Georgia Left. I would do GSP, but we have that GSP logo that's going to be on the back, so we've got to differentiate that somehow. And let's go ahead and increase our size. Georgia State Patrol. State Patrol? State Patrol. And that's all going to fit on one door. With that in mind, we'll go ahead and drop it down. Let's try 90. Looks like it only has enough room for about one more letter on the left. Pretty close on the right. So let's go ahead and drop that down to 88. See if that fits it just slightly better. So we're going to stick with that, and we're going to line it up. If you follow this line of the car and match it up with this line of the car, there's a little intersection there. I'm going to use that to put the corner letter on it. Put that L on there. That way I know where that is for reference on the next side. And since we don't have to worry about leaning it, I'm going to grab this text, move over to Georgia Left, and then drag that straight down and do the same thing. Is that the correct line? Get rid of that. There we go. Yep, looks like the right one. Lines up pretty well, and by doing that, it speeds up the process quite a bit instead of having to try to visually line it up properly. So the next thing we're going to do is Trooper Right, and create another one for Trooper Left. Starting with the right side, go back to text. Shortcut for that is T. Pretty sure we're gonna need to drop down the size here a little bit. It's close, but we are gonna drop it down slightly. So we were at 88. Let's try 84. I think that's still, yeah, that's too tall. Oh, changing the wrong selection items here. So, let's see, if that was 88, let's try 80. Is it State Trooper? Yeah, it is. Georgia State Patrol, State Trooper. The text is still far too large, though. So we'll drop this down to 74. Still feels huge. Typically, if I was doing a custom design, I would not make the front text quite that large, because it tends to make it feel very crowded and like it doesn't quite fit the car very well. But that's pretty much what they have on there, so now we'll just line this up to fit a little better. And this is something we're going to have to do with the text that we put on the doors already as well, is give it just a slight angle not a lot, but you want it to kind of match up with the curve of the car a little bit to follow it. Otherwise, it will look like the text near the front end of the car will be aimed upward instead of being in line with the car. And we're going to do the same thing with the Georgia right, except I'm going to use this door as a reference and get that as close as possible so that it lines up pretty well with that line. We just need to find our spot again, our reference intersection there. Maybe bring that back just a tad. So I'm going to do that on both sides. Go ahead and select this one. Bring it down to the line. Not too far off. And now, like we saw in the last one there, instead of having it line up exactly with that corner, I'm going to bring it back a couple of notches because it's getting a little too close to the front of the door, which could be a couple things. It could be that the text is too large, or in this case, it's just an awkward size thing of text, so we just bring it back another notch. Bring the L to that line, bring the G to this one. There we go. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go over here. Whoops. Just Control Z to put that back in place. Go to Trooper right, select the text, go to Trooper left. Now this one's already got the lean to it, so we'll have to lean it back the other way, about twice as much as we did the other one. Because you have to make up for what you did on the first one, and then continue on until you're lined up for the left side of the car. It's a little convoluted when you try to explain it too much, but... So, for reference... What do we have for reference? Look back at our example. It's pretty much the entire width of the wheel. Which means we're going to have to actually stretch this text a little bit. Stretch the text slightly to make it kind of fit the wheel well, and then drop it down slightly so it'll fit on the side of the car. And we'll just have it line up with this line right there. So now, instead of trying to do the exact same thing on the other side, I'm going to copy that, bring it back over. This will be easier than trying to do exactly that, trying to match it up. Bring this over so it's exactly the same size. Get it lined up with the S on that side. Looking a little lopsided, but we'll see how this ends up. So the next thing we need is asterisk GSP. Fortunately, that's all just text, so that'll be easy enough to put in. Let's just do asterisk GSP right. Same thing, except it's going to be left. I did GPS. Yay for autopilot. So GSP right, text, asterisk, asterisks. Boy, that's a hard word to say for some reason. GSP. Gotta love it. Alright, so we'll look at our example again. Best example for this is, unfortunately, they don't have it on this one. So it's going to be this one. Most of the way back, just before the car starts to curve up to the trunk. So I'm going to line this up right there. Right. There we go. Select that. Go to left. Just check the left side of our car. Yep, it's exactly the same logo. And paste that into the new layer. And without turning it. There we go. I have to zoom in even closer to get past the history box there. bring that right up in here. Working out the details. Do I want it to have it that low? I think the text is a little bigger, so we're going to need to actually stretch it up, and that will take care of the fact that it was a little lower. We'll do that, copy it, and then have it be exactly the same on the right side. Even though we just put that in there, this will ensure that the formatting is exactly the same. Okay, so the side is done except for the badge. That one, there's an easy way to make it happen. You could try to make the whole thing yourself, but the amount of work involved in that, if you're trying to make the car look exactly like, let's say, a police car, I would go ahead and just bring up your friendly Google page, find a good high-definition image of the badge, just depends on which what you can find. Sometimes you have to use the badge instead. Public safety, yeah, that's the one. I'm going to copy and paste this in. I'm going to go ahead and create a new image and paste it so that I can select this and get rid of the white background. If there's white against the edge, it'll delete that too, so you have to be a little more careful with that. Fortunately, this does not have that issue. I'm going to copy that, create a couple new layers. Layer 8 is going to be badge right. And for consistency's sake, I'll go ahead and make that all caps as well. Right. And then badge left for layer number 9. Back to layer number 8, paste, and bring it in, and it's actually pretty close to the right size for this, which is a little bit unusual. To only shrink it down a little bit. The best part of that is the quality will hold a whole lot better than if you were taking a full-size image and shrinking it down to the size of a little logo. So it fits above the text, but underneath the curve, actually just into the bottom of the curve, so it should be a little bit higher than that. So what we can also do, once we get our badge in place, if we find that it's not quite the right spot, then we can just go back to our trooper right, go to our move tool, which is the short key is M. Oh, we're moving state trooper. That's what we're doing wrong. Leave trooper alone. Go to Georgia right. Okay. We will make our badge slightly larger again. And then just line it up with the center. Right over the top of state. Right over the center of state, actually, which makes this slightly larger than it needs to be. There we go. So now we just select that. Same thing we were doing before, badge left. Drop this right in here. Same idea. Minor delay, but I am back. So now that we've got the sides pretty well done, delay after delay, we are good to go. We've got the side down, which is really the toughest part because even the back of the state police cars don't seem to have any text on them. So now what we can focus on is unit top. I think they just have numbers. Looks like just numbers, but what I'm going to do The only reason I'm going to customize this a little bit is in case I end up using it, I'll make it my own unit number for patrol. Let's go ahead and make that a larger size. King 21. It's going to match up the same kind of font that they're already using. Let's go ahead and go with the 288. Just grab it, use the shift key, and then turn it around so that it locks to a certain spot, kind of snaps to it. We'll drop that in right there. And Georgia has an interesting plate. Let's see if I can find a good example. One thing I could have done earlier. Now this is something where you could do it 100% custom, or you can put another plate on. Just kind of depends on the kind of thing that you're looking for there. And actually, you know, I think I have a Georgia plate. Let me see. Where would I have put that? If I can't find it really soon, we'll continue on. I know where I would find it. Let's go to Vehicles, Skins, Johns Creek. No, I don't actually have the Johns Creek one. Well, we'll have a... excuse me. We'll have a Los Santos license plate, but it's based off of Georgia. And this is one of those reasons to keep your other stuff around, is because you can use it like this. Plate. We have layer 11. Paste that in there. And I believe Georgia is one of those states that only requires one plate, and that's the back one. You want to get that lined up. You can also lower the opacity a little bit so you get it completely lined up. I'm going to go with just this for now because that's about right. And then for the number, I'm not going to worry about all the other text to it. We're just going to do King 21. Drop that right in there. My mistake. They don't use the orange color, they just go with black, so there we go. And I've got an effect in here from Boltbait's pack of bevel object. I've already used it once, but I'll go ahead and use it again. Actually, I'll just bring it up here as well. It brings up this, the colors, the depth. The depth is the main thing, that and strength that you'll be changing a little bit. Oh, I see what I did here. I put the text on top of the plate instead of using a separate layer. You want to do a separate layer for that so that you can affect the text without affecting the plate. Go ahead and do the bevel. And you can see that kind of gives it a raised appearance. And the more times you use it, or the stronger you use, the more it will do it. And I use that with the plate as well. And while we're doing this, I'll go ahead and just use this other plate that I created for the front one. On this other car. Front plate, copy, plate, front plate. Drop that in there as well, and not hit that button. Okay. So now what we want to do is try to match that blue color. And you end up wanting to go darker than you think it will be, because in-game it'll actually be a lighter color. So I'm going to go above the background color, create a new layer, and try to fill that in with the blue. It's a little light, so we'll just drop the... to be honest, I don't remember what HSV stands for, but if you drop V down, I'm going to go with about 50. maybe 45. And that should be about right. The only odd thing with this is instead of doing the entire car blue, the car actually has another layer. Let's do right silver. And let's choose a silver color and then shrink this brush down. Nope. Go ahead and just delete that line. And we're just going to try to follow this line down to here. We just want to make sure that the bottom of the line over here is straight. Bring this one down. This one just needs to start down here. What happens up in this area doesn't really matter. And we'll just have it stop right there. Now this is another area where the lines don't really matter what they're doing as long as they're not crossing any other important part of the car. Any other car, really. We're just going to run this line all the way across, and we'll just bump these two notches up so that it makes a solid area, but it's not touching anything else, and then fill that box in. It's a little dark, but like I said before, it will appear lighter in the game. I'm going to create another layer, copy all of this, and then paste that into a new layer. Flip it horizontally, and use the arrow keys to drop this down. Frequently when you do this, depending on the template, it should be lined up perfectly. Doesn't always happen, but it's a good thing to try, because then it takes a lot of the guesswork out. And there we go. Just drop that down a little bit. Now you've got blue with the silver on the top, and then we're going to do the exact same thing. Actually, does it run across the hood? Nope, it stops only on the hood. It doesn't get on that front bumper, which is right here. So all of this, and if I use Alt and the selection key, the selection tool, you can get rid of sections. And now just fill that in with the gray. Let me go ahead and create a new layer for that one. Fill that in. Left, silver, top. Okay, so we got that all sorted. And then this section right here is the last part that needs to have silver. It's just that top trim piece. Now, we'll go ahead and make all of this solid color. Go ahead and save this. ESP actual PNG. Okay, so from here we want to go ahead and put it into the name of the vehicle, which in this case is CHGR sign 1. No, it's not. It's something different. Let me check my vehicles here real quick. Vehicles, models. Okay, sorry guys, almost there. Got to sort through all the different vehicle packs I've got in here. So this one is... oh. The vehicle's right there, so... is it just chargers? Okay. Alright then, it is just this one. So I'm going to save that as the PDN, so it saves all the layers. And now I'm going to save again, this time in the PNG folder, change that to PNG, and save it. And while that's saving, I'm going to bring up Open 4. bring up where my cars are at, and then change the YTD for police.2. I already have that particular car in here. And let's bring up the skin that I just created. Sorry, I'm working on that over here. PNG, oops. Where did... I gotta bring this one back up. And then just drag that in there. You want to OK for the options. Now save. There's always a delay here. Always makes you wonder if it's working right. There we go. Now we'll just go into our Police 2 and take a look at what we've done. And again, we've got this as the example. You can change up the colors of the lights to match up with the all blues. That is an option. In fact, I've got some vehicles installed that would be all blues, but in this case we don't have that set up. So this one in particular is the one that will help us match up. There we go. Looks pretty close. I mean, you got the hood, it's all the kind of the silver color. The dark blue on the side, State Trooper with a slight slant, works out well on the text there. GSP on the back. Looking pretty good. There's the number on the top. That should be brought back down a little bit. And I'll show you how to do that real quick here. Just bring up unit top, and with the move tool selected, just arrow keys. And I'm not even going to worry about changing the opacities and double checking it, but that will move that text down as much as I just hit the... So we should be all set. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Hopefully it was quick enough for you. And hopefully you have a wonderful rest of your day. And I will see you soon.
Vehicle accident, west side of Capitol Avenue.
Turn around.
Howdy.
One radio.
3601, go ahead.
Smooth 7, kind of 6664. Swimming up to 45.
864. Yep. 12385 Woodley Avenue.
Target license plate 61 Tom William X-ray 688. A traffic violation. A warrant issued. Proceed with caution.
309 Eastwood Avenue. 309 Eastwood Avenue Southeast.
So you have fire department involved in the accident? Did you get?
Okay.
3692. Advise them to make sure they have IDs and all.
Good.
3692. Have the units respond and ensure that they have crime scene units come out to take photos if the city vehicle